If you're a travel business owner who constantly wonders how much of me actually needs to go into my content strategy without it feeling like egocentric city, and if you're chasing consistency on how you show up and you're questioning whether you've hit that sweet spot or not, this is the perfect episode for you. Hey, I'm Steph, and I'm obsessed with all things travel, marketing, branding, and helping you stand out from the crowd. In just under 2 years, I went from being a home based travel agent with zero clue how to make it work in the digital world to launching an international ranking travel podcast and creating an online course to help travel agents in lead generation. Here's one thing I know for sure: there has never in the history of the world been a better time to create the travel business you've always wanted. All you need is an actionable strategy and someone to show you the way. Picture this: we're going to spend the next hour of our time together at the Swim Up Pool Bar, where over a cocktail, we deep dive into travel-related topics, mixed with a little classroom training. This show is dedicated to encouraging you to step outside of your comfort zone and into your travel business. I'll show you how I did it and how you can too. Hit subscribe now and let's get into it. If you're a travel agent wanting to onboard your perfect fit clients into your biz, download my free cheat sheet for lead generation systems you can use right now. Head to stephaniemyers.academy/cheat sheet. You're listening to Unplug in Paradise, the podcast. Hi, hello, welcome back to Unplug in Paradise. I'm your host, Stephanie, and wherever you are in the world right now, I hope that you are having the absolute time of your life. As I feel like every single travel agent that I have on Facebook or that I follow on Instagram, it feels like everyone's overseas or doing something really rad, and I am just here. So yeah, feeling all those positive travel vibes are definitely coming through, guys, loud and clear, and I'm loving all the experiences that I'm seeing at the moment. So good for you. Have a cocktail for me and make sure that you are leaning ridiculously hard into all of those fun times and making up for lost time. And if you're on holidays living it up right now, awesome. If you're not, I don't want you to miss out either. I do have something very special for you. Next week, I have a brand new free live masterclass, which I show you exactly how to create an irresistible personal brand that skyrockets your travel business and positions you as the authority in your niche. And I would love it if you could come along. It's on Thursday at 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. That is a mouthful because the clocks go forward an hour this weekend. So don't forget, if you're a New South Welshman like me, that is what's going on. So the masterclass is going to be at 8 o'clock at night. So it's a really nice, intimate time. It's not during the day. It's not going to collide with any of your appointments or consults. The one thing that I want to mention about this masterclass is that it's only open to 50 travel agents. So it's going to be a super exclusive, high-touch interactive sessions with a Q&A at the end. And you'll also have a chance to win a spot inside of my flagship online program, Travel Agent Runway, just for participating and showing up and being the committed travel agent that you are, and really showing that you are ready for the next level in your travel business. This will always also be your chance to join the last cohort of Travel Agent Runway for 2022 and get that little head start on solidifying your digital marketing strategy ahead of a brand new year. 2023 is looking to ramp up, so we are here and we are ready for it. So if you do want to come along on the masterclass, remember there are only 50 seats available, so it is first in, best dressed. There are no extra seating going to be allowed for this particular one. I want it to be really nice and intimate. So if you are keen, stop this episode right now and head over to stephaniemyers.academy travelagent.com/masterclass and secure your spot now. And if you do have a travel agent pal who you know definitely needs in on this action, make sure you sign them up too, but make sure you get their permission first because consent is cool. So, yes, we're starting off this week's podcast on a high, and today's episode is a very important one. How much of me actually needs to go into my content without it feeling like it's ecocentric city? And how do I know that I've reached the sweet spot? So, let's get into it. Before we begin today's episode, would you please join me while we recognise the generations of the local Aboriginal people of the Bundjalung Nation who have lived in and derived their physical and spiritual needs from the forests, rivers, lakes and streams of this beautiful valley over thousands of years as the traditional owners and custodians of these lands. In today's episode, we're going to unpack all of the things that goes into creating a personal brand for your travel business and chat about how much is too much when it comes to inserting yourself into your content. It's a tricky subject. And I suppose it takes quite a bit of practice to know when you're adding in too much of yourself and not enough of your own personal content, if that makes sense. But we're going to unpack it today. So, understandably, this is quite a new concept for travel agents as we've either been working in a brick and mortar store or we've taken the leap and we've gone over and started our own franchise agency. So, either which one yet you are currently, both of these are not an easy feat. There has always seemed to be some sort of element in our profession. I don't know if you've noticed or if you can relate, but it's basically accentuating the fact that you hide behind whoever you work for. And this is something that I've noticed. So whether you're an individual uh, working for an office, you are very much a person in that office. You are nothing more than just a person in that office. You aren't being recognized for the service that you do provide because it is your unique service, but there's no uh, individualism when you work in an agency, which gives us something to consider when we are now in our own businesses. And perhaps you've got the vision of being you and your business is you, but you're just not quite sure how to get there and how to build that personal brand, so to speak. So it's easy when we're working in real life, right? Like we're meeting clients, we have a database and an email list of people who you know personally, which is where many of us start out to gather our clients in the first place. So we've met majority of our clients before in person. It may have been earlier on in your career. And, these are the people who have loved you from the get-go. They've stood by you. And I must say that these people are just the absolutely most incredible people to work with usually, and I hope you take this as a sign to drop them a little text message just to let them know you're thinking of them and, sharing the love. So, yes, when you've built your travel business full of people who you know, you already have an existing relationship with them. And of course, they're going to know what your favorite wine is. They probably know all your kids' names, your pets' names, your husband's name, where you went last on holidays, and they've most likely got it pinned down to exactly what you'd do if you won the lotto tonight. So, all of these are really specific traits and characteristics that make up much of who you are and where they perceive you inside of the marketplace. They've already established likability with you. So you've made it really easy for them to like you. And I'm sure that you love them back. And you've also shared moments together during your career so far that, you're unequivocally part of the family. So one thing I could never have imagined is when I was a retail travel agent where I was pretty happy serving behind the desk and the next moment, which is something that I've experienced in my own personal journey, is when you step into your own home-based travel business, you're now behind the kitchen bench, wrist deep in rumble mixture, planning and mapping out your clients' extended families trips for the next 12 months. And I wouldn't have it any other way. It's that feeling is so special. I mean, how lucky are we to do what we do and book holidays for generations of families and clients who literally think we're family. So it's so awesome. It's wild to think about, and it's the number one reason why we're all here. So you've probably wondered how on earth this has got to do anything to do with personal brand, how to be consistent online in a way that's not coming across self-centered, egotistical, or that you have some sort of, sense of inflated sense of self, and how you establish that middle ground, and trying to find that sweet spot for yourself. And the way that this converts into a personal brand is firstly working out how much of yourself are you willing or feel comfortable with sharing online, because that's number one thing that we need to consider. And to clarify, your personal brand is not your logo. It is not your brand colors. It is not what company you franchise under. And it's not the fancy little title that you have given yourself. It's none of those things. It is exactly how it sounds. Your own personal brand is your own personal self, which is your authentic and unique human characteristics that make up who you are in a real sense, but converted by recreating this exact same impact online. And I'm going to explain what I mean a little bit further in the episode. So, there are so many ways that you can do this online by showing up inside of your business. Showing your face is number one, because that is what people would expect to see in real life if they were to meet you in person. Using your voice and speaking from the heart as if you would in real life as well. And above all, showcasing your personality. As there is nothing more important than connecting with your audience and showing them exactly who the person is behind the business. I've got some tips around this as well. So hopefully this will help with your comfort levels when it comes to personal branding. So number one, is the information that you're sharing online onto all of your social and digital platforms, are they relevant to you and your business? Or is it just information and random things that you just post and hope that you get engagement? Or is it something that you've purposely put together to serve the number one person in your business? And if you know that the content that you are creating is purely based around being of service and providing top level, education, destination information to your audience to offer the best possible outcome for them, then I would say that you're in your sweet spot. But if you're not feeling like you align with the content you're posting, perhaps you're sharing too many tips and not enough experience based points, perspectives, or insights, your own personal insights. Or perhaps you're sharing too many deals and pretty pictures of destinations, but not necessarily sharing the story behind that or the motive behind posting in the first place. If you're sharing content for likes, hits, and the possibility of going viral, you're most likely sharing the wrong content. If you're sharing true content that is humanized, in rhythm with you and your season in business, offers enough transparency that your business audience that your online audience can relate to, you'll know you're sharing the right content and you'll be feeling that connection and that engagement like never before as a direct result, which is our desirable outcome at the end of the day. Number two, are you comfortable sharing something that is potentially being seen by people you don't know? And I know this is a big thing for me in the past is, stranger danger and how much is too much, and online safety and things like that. And it's all very, very important, valid points. So you want to make sure that you are comfortable with sharing things online that could potentially be seen by people that you've never met. And if you're likely to share a photo of other people inside of your content, like your pictures of parents and family and children, are you okay with giving them a digital footprint inside of your content for all to see? So, really important things to consider. Number three is it's okay to start off only sharing little tidbits of who you are and your personality as you go, Because no one is expecting you to take the phone right now, spin the camera around, and start talking all about where you went out for dinner last night, what you ate, what the service was like, and where you're going out to breakfast tomorrow. No one's expecting you to do that. Unless you want to, of course, but you want to make sure that the information that you're providing on your digital platforms and that is representing your personal brand is definitely in line with your values and your core content pillars. So, number four is that you don't have to be a social media influencer da, 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 to share things about your business. And I think this is a big one because you see so many influencers traveling and plastering all their travels online. You can see where the untrained eye spots someone who actually isn't perhaps qualified to offer such travel advice or recommendations. And guys, I know that we've all seen this online. And this is such a massive trend and continuously flooding social media now more than ever that the world's opened back up. Again, the mindset of being able to share your own travel experiences tends to fall in the laps of those who are only out to single you out. And that basically means that they're going to look at you and they're going to think that you're a social media travel influencer or something. Well, they're only there. They want to sling dodgy comments at you saying that you're too self absorbed, you're self centered. All you can do is talk about all the places you've been to. Like, can you not share anything else on on your platforms? I get this. I get this on so many levels. And yes, it's definitely not fun. And if I was to compare myself to a travel influencer, my Instagram account is nowhere near as big as those Instagram influencers. And, just some of the stuff that sometimes your own friends and family have got to say to you because their comments are the ones that often hurt the most. I could never, ever, ever be envious or green at any travel influencers out there in the scale of hate or judgment or negativity that they cop on the daily. So, yes, you definitely don't try and be a travel influencer. Just try and be yourself because what you're doing is building a personal brand that has a legit business and high touch service behind it. And you are serving your type of people. And if you're happy to go online and share about your day and what you have planned and what you're working on behind the scenes or whatever fun client itineraries and projects that you're working on right now, please share it. There are people out there dying to see you and dying to know that information and to keep themselves in the loop and what your work world looks like, but keeping in mind that you do feel 100% confident and comfortable with the information that you're sharing online. And number five, if you're feeling like you're consistent for just a few weeks, but then you fall off the bandwagon altogether and go radio silent for months, I suggest you take some time to do some deep planning. And rather than just posting whatever comes to your inbox or comes to mind, sharing some intentional content with purpose in between time and then leave some white space for the spontaneous news flash type posts. So you can duck and weave in between your key messaging that you are posting out regularly. And if that all sounds a little bit too out of reach, or you're just thinking, okay, Steph, I'm already stuck, I need more clarification, you definitely need to come to the masterclass. But we do cover this in much more depth inside of our flagship online course, Travel Agent Runway, where you can actually design and implement the right strategy to suit you and your individual business needs. Because there's no blueprint at the end of the day. Everyone's travel business is so different, and you definitely need to find the right strategy for you and one that is going to work for you in the travel industry. Our businesses are so random and weird and diverse compared to other industries. There's no stock standard expectation. So you need to really figure out what it is that works for you. Because the real reason why we're here, and the number one reason why your business is different from the travel agent down the road, whether you're in the same franchise or not, isn't because you are just one suburb over or you are closer to the beach, and it doesn't matter if you're more established or they're more established or if you've just started in your business journey. It doesn't matter because it's because you are being you and no one does you better than you. Okay? And of course, as you grow your confidence online and start to feel more momentum and building up your comfort levels and your consistency, you'll soon be finding brand new opportunities landing in your inbox for collaborations and joint ventures online, which I can't even begin to start telling you about. It's absolutely so exciting, as these are the most perfect opportunities for you to really broaden your scope, introduce new audience and potential clientele, create new eyeballs on what it is that you're offering, your travel expertise, your niche, who it is that you serve, and what it is it that you are known for in the industry, and bring a whole new wave of people seeing your value and seeing your worth and, busting to book with you. And a really good example of a collaboration I've been involved in recently is with the Cool Career, where one of my online besties, Kura, asked whether I would share my career story to help women in their 20s land their dream career, which is incredibly cool. And I kind of wish that there was a resource like this around when I was in my 20s. I'll leave a link to in the show notes to the Cool Career so you can check them out. But if you do know someone that are in their 20s, like a female in their 20s, that will greatly benefit from Kura's expertise, I will leave it there as well. So, yes, back to when I was asked to participate and share my career story, I jumped at the chance. And you're probably wondering why. Girls in their 20s who are looking for career advice probably aren't my target audience, but I was once a girl in my 20s. And yes, I was a girl in my 20s in travel. I needed guidance, probably. I needed inspiration, definitely, and craved mentorship and all of the above. So I wish I had a role model to focus on, because I think my business and my life decisions would look a hell of a lot different to what they look like today. I'm very proud of the business that I've created today and I love it so much. But I think the outcome would have looked a lot different if I had all of those things, which is something that the Cool Career offers. So 100% amazing resource. But the biggest outcome for me from this particular collab is knowing that perhaps I would inspire just one person to take up a career in the travel industry. Just one person. And to think about that, it barely seems worth it, spending hours creating a career story and, backwards and forwards with edits and things like that. You think, is it worth it? But in my eyes, it definitely is worth it. It's social proofing for your business, and it also shifts things into perspective. So, something to think about the next time you're online and posting something that might feel, perhaps a little salesy or sleazy, or even something a little self driven without offering a genuine reason behind it. Like perhaps you haven't posted in a few days and you just post something random, like a random deal or something, because, you're trying to drum up business. I want you to think about it, because even if you spent an extra day to create something purposeful that inspires just one person, you're building your thought leadership within the travel industry. You're empowering your own brand, you're being yourself, and you're building a business and growing it all at the same time. And I just want to take a second to appreciate how cool that is. That is so, so cool. If you're interested in checking out my career story or slightly curious as to what an online collaboration could potentially look like, I'll leave the story in the show notes as well so you can check them out. And of course, if you have read the story so far, make sure you DM me on Instagram, as I'd love to know what you think. So, yeah, let me know what your thoughts are. And to wrap up this episode, we spoke about the difference between personal brand and actually having a brand. We spoke about the difference between a brick and mortar store, your presence inside of a brick and mortar store, versus having your own personal brand inside of your own agency, what it looks like when you're showing up online. And we spoke about the comfortability of sharing too much or too little and where that sweet spot is. and making sure that you're in a place where you can share content that you're comfortable with, that doesn't impede on other people's privacy, doesn't impede on your privacy, and also doing it in a way that it's consistent, but it's not too much, because if you feel like you're constantly posting and then dropping off the bandwagon, it's probably means that your system or strategy or plan isn't quite working at the moment. And I would probably revise it by looking back and going, okay, maybe I'm posting too frequently and that's why I'm burning out. Maybe I need to take things a little bit slower for myself so I can offer that consistent strategy, because your audience is going to love it, your business is going to love it, and I can guarantee it's going to be a hell of a lot easier for you as opposed to posting, 2 or 3 times a day, maybe making that 2 or 3 times a week. And then seeing what kind of creative processes you can come up in the meantime, and different content that you can include in your strategy, because it is all trial and error. There is no blueprint to this, guys. It is all based on your own personal experience. And like I said, every single travel business is different. So you need to make sure that you're honoring the season in your business right now and doing what. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you're wanting to download an online version of today's show notes, you can head over to travelbystephanie.com.au /53 on how much of me needs to go into my content without it feeling like egocentric city, and how you know you've hit the sweet spot. Also, I want to extend my invitation to you. I have a free live masterclass heading out next week on Thursday, the 6th of October. I am only advertising this for 50 spots. So if you are listening to the podcast and following along on my socials, or maybe you're on my mailing list, you guys are the only ones that are at the moment getting this exclusive invitation. So there are only 50 spots to this free live masterclass, where I'm going to show you exactly how to create an irresistible personal brand that skyrockets your travel business and positions you as the authority in your niche. I would love it if you could come along. The masterclass is going to be super high touch, interactive session with a Q&A at the end, and can't go past saying that you could potentially win yourself a spot inside of my flagship online program, Travel Agent Runway, just for showing up and participating inside of the webinar, and also showing me that you are ready for that next level inside of your travel business. So super exciting. And this will also be my very last cohort. So your last chance to join the last cohort of Travel Agent Runway in 2022 and get your head start on solidifying your digital marketing strategy ahead of the new year. So, yes, I'm going to say it again. There are only 50 seats available for the free live masterclass. So, if you do want to join me, jump over to stephaniemyers.academy /masterclass and secure your spot now. Until next time, guys, thank you so much. I will see you next week. Cool. Bye.